Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Phil Pinarski here with the News 8 Live Desk. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. If it seems like there are a lot of new faces on News 8 and we keep bringing them on here on the Live Desk to introduce you all to them, well, that's because it is, and we have another one for everybody to meet today. This is George Smith, the legendary journalist and news reporter, is now joining our team on the Daybreak show. He's going to be joining Teresa Weekly, Matt Kirkwood, and Tom Hillen on weekday mornings, and today was actually his first day on the broadcast. George, thank you so much for stopping by, giving us the chance to get to know you a little bit. How was that first show for you?
First one is done. That's a good thing. It felt
Right.
actually pretty good. It's good to get back to television. I had a 2-year break actually from TV, so it's good to get back on the air and get the repetition in and get used to getting up early in the morning and getting on track with this schedule.
I was going to say probably getting up that first time is definitely probably going to be the hardest one, but it definitely won't be as easy next time tomorrow, probably not.
Yeah, I would say that, it's interesting. I've done morning shows before. I did one for a year in Chicago, so I know what the pace is like. But I've been doing nights for quite a while now, so you have to get used to going to bed early.
Right.
And going to bed early was the easy part. Staying asleep is the harder part. And last night I didn't sleep as well as I would have liked. Maybe a little anxiety over the first day.
Yeah, definitely. And George, I kind of alluded to it, and you mentioned it as well, just some of the stops that you've made. You've had legendary careers taking you all over the country, really. But for people that maybe this is their first time seeing you on their television sets, can you kind of just explain why you are considered such a legend in the industry and have just such an incredible background in your career?
Legend is very strong,
I don't think so,
strong.
George. I think you've earned it for sure.
I think one of the highlights of my career was 10 years that I spent at ESPN from 2003 to 2012, covering all sorts of sports, anything from the NFL to the Olympic Games, to some pretty serious news cases like the Duke lacrosse case, the Michael Vick dog fighting case, Kobe Bryant rape allegations, so some pretty heavy, serious news stories. I covered a lot of the news side of sports, even the Pistons-Pacers brawl at one point back in the day I got a chance to cover. So I spent 10 years there as a correspondent, traveling all over the country, covering stories for SportsCenter and for Outside the Lines, and so got to see a lot of the country and got to meet a lot of interesting coaches and players along the way.
Absolutely. And, I love asking people this question because I think you get better insight into kind of the style of news or the style of stories that they really like doing. But is there a story in your career that is always going to stick out to you, one that you're either particularly proud of doing or one that you knew was super important that needed to be done and you were glad you were able to do it, or one that was fun and maybe you just are always going to remember, always going to have fond memories of working on?
Well, I'll tell you what, on the serious side, I would say the Duke lacrosse case is one that stands out. Very serious rape allegations against several players of the team, and as it turned out, the allegation was not true, but it was a more than year-long saga involving the players on the team. The season was actually suspended, and it was a year before they picked up lacrosse again, playing lacrosse again at Duke. So on and off for about a year, I covered that story, and it was pretty intense. A lot of dynamics to that story, race and class, and involving sports and privilege, and so that was a very interesting one to cover. And then I would say on the fun side, I've gotten to cover 4 Olympic Games, Athens, Beijing, London, and Vancouver, so 3 summers and 1 winter games. Got to cover the USA men's and women's basketball team, got to see almost all of their games and watch them win gold medals, watched Usain Bolt on the track win the 100 and 200 in a couple of different Olympics, and saw Michael Phelps break the record when he ended up getting 8 gold. So I saw a lot of interesting things during my Olympic experience.
Right, I'm sure you and Jack Doles are going to have a lot of great conversations about Olympics in the past. But George, kind of shifting back now to your time here with News 8. Again, I know we're still in the honeymoon phase, and we're very happy to have you here. But what are you really looking forward to most joining the Daybreak team? I mean, what really kind of did you see that made you want to come back to, or come here to West Michigan, be a part of this community, be part of this team?
Well, I think it's very similar. I was in Madison, Wisconsin for 6 years before I came here, and there's a very similar feel. There's a friendly feel. The size of the city is about the same. And I mentioned I had taken a 2-year break from TV, so I was looking for a new opportunity. And the friendliness of this area, I think the size of the city, was appealing to me. I also am excited to be a part of the Football Frenzy.
Right.
That comes up every week. I enjoy doing live television. I love going out on location, and I was able to observe last week's Football Frenzy and just kind of be in the background and take it all in. So I'm looking forward to actually being a part of the show this week.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and I know Frenzy is always a really fun time, so I'm glad that you're here just in time as things are really starting to kick off. And kind of on that same vein, for our audience that you're going to be talking to and bringing the news to day in and day out, what do you hope to bring them day in and day out? What is the one thing that you think that you can bring them that maybe we were missing, or maybe something that you want to amplify here at News 8 and really just bring our audience something that they really desperately need?
Really, I think just continuing to bring a good quality news program. I don't think that I have any magical powers, so I'll just do the best that I can day in and day out. But we've got a great team. I'm looking forward to working with Teresa and Matt and Tom. It looks like they have a lot of fun together, and it's been great with them so far, just getting suggestions and recommendations of things to do around town. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, like I said, we're very happy to have you here, George. And before we let you go, we usually do a rapid-fire questionnaire before at the very end of all of these Meet the Team segments. And if you're interested, we'd love to just ask you a quick couple of rapid-fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
All right, awesome. First question. I know you've only been here for a little bit, but is there something about West Michigan that you just absolutely love already? Your favorite thing about the area?
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan. Okay, awesome. Favorite food? Do you have one that you are always constantly eating? Maybe something you're always recommending people?
I don't always eat it, but a good juicy steak is probably number one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Favorite season here in Michigan? We get all four of them. Is there one that you're particularly looking forward to, or one that maybe you don't really like and you're kind of glad that it's over?
I'd say the fall. I like the colors of the leaves.
Yep. All right. Awesome. Is there a book or movie or TV show that you are constantly rewatching, recommending to people, or something you want people to know about?
Godfather 1, probably my favorite. Casablanca, maybe a tight second.
All the classics. I love that. All right. Kind of on the same idea, is there a music genre, a song, an album, an artist that you're particularly fond of, or that you really love, or maybe you even have a collection of theirs, like a physical collection of them?
I'd say my favorite two are Prince and Michael Jackson. Very close. I'm not sure if I could pick one over the other.
Right, yeah. Probably best to stay out of that debate. And George, finally, I saw in your bio, you love to travel. You've been to 49 out of the 50 states, I believe. Is there a place in the country, or maybe even outside of the country in your travels, that you just love going to, or a trip that you've taken that you're always going to remember?
One interesting one, after the London Olympics, I went to Paris and Prague, and I would say that Prague was a very unique city with a lot of history and culture, and that would be my favorite.
All right, awesome stuff. Well, George, those are all the questions we have. Thank you for playing along, and thank you so much for being here again. We're really excited to have you join our team on the on Daybreak with the rest of the Daybreak crew, and we're looking forward to seeing the shows as they go forward.
Thanks very much.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, George, again, thanks for stopping by. I do want to thank everybody else for also tuning into this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.